Okay, so can I ask why you look like you're about to, I don't know, go sailing or something? Or I'm not sure what you
So I'm
look.
doing some heat training. Um, so the idea of this is inspired by a study that I think is best done is a Brent Ronestad study, where he took well-trained participants with an average VO2 max of about 70, continental level riders, and basically they saw massive improvements in. So they saw big improvements in most aerobic parameters that you'd be interested in, like VO2 max, power at the end of a ramp test. I think they did some kind of 40-minute or 20 to 40-minute time trial.
Yeah, get back to what you were saying.
So yes, they saw big improvements in all those kind of useful, interesting aerobic parameters that you'd associate with performance, and by really quite a large magnitude in already very well-trained high-level cyclists. So even just for that increase in hematocrit, and the biggest increases in plasma volume. So the plasma volume is your blood is made up of good analogy I heard Jack Burke uses, that's the cereal. So that's the wet part of blood, and in response to heat training, this you get more of that, which is a mechanism to protect you against dehydration effectively. So I think if you're starting off with a bigger tank of water at the start, you're more proofed against getting dehydrated the second time. This is how most process of adaptations work. If you think it's not that similar, if you do start walking barefoot, the skin on your feet will get more calluses, and so you won't get blisters the next time. So it's kind of similar. It's a good analogy to use for training. It's about getting that right amount of stimulus so that your calluses get thicker, but not so much that they break and blister, because then you can't carry on doing training and making more compound gains over time. So even if you're just looking at that acute improvement in performance from doing the heat training.
So here we have the average man, and then we have someone in a bin bag. He's in a.
Actually, for reference,
bin. What is that?
Jumper, skin suit, and then I've got tights underneath this.
So you're wearing a lot of clothes.
Yeah,
so can I ask? Do you want to have? Do you have any questions you want to ask?
Well, yeah. I mean, what are you? Is this just a way of having a cheap sauna? First of all, is that the idea? I don't know.
Yeah, so you can get good heat adaptations from sauna, but they are less potent than doing this, and they're also impractical unless you've got a sauna, whereas this is effectively free.
So you're trying to. Hang on. So you're trying to tell me that what you're doing is very practical. To me, it looks like you're dripping sweat all over the floor, and you're making life difficult for yourself for no good reason.
So if I wanted to go to the sauna today, I would have to buy membership for a new leisure centre. I'd have to drive half an hour there, and it's really hard to stay in a sauna for 50 minutes. And then even if you do all that, you're getting about half as much gains as you get from doing this. And then also you think so today I wanted to do 3 hours of training. If I did the heat, I have to do my 3 hours of training and then I have to go and do an hour of sauna. Whereas if I do this, I get better gains and I get it all done in 3 hours, and then I can get back to coaching and recovering.
Well, I've got another question. That thing that you're wearing, that bin bag.
Sauna suit from Decathlon, France.
Yeah, that thing that looks like a bin bag stitched together. The thing about that is, it's all very well, but it's probably quite hard to clean, so that must just get full of sweat. And I'd say, how you either got to clean that, or it's gonna smell really horrible after a while.
It's quite like, what do you call it? Safe sort of fabric for washing. Like nothing sticks to it. It just like drips straight off. And the other thing is it's collecting the sweat. So there's a bit of sweat here. I reckon like 200 mil. Over the hour I'll sweat about 50 minutes. So I reckon I sweat close to 3 litres, plus or minus. And so when I get out now, empty the sweat that's gathering in here and in my clothes and wring it out. That's where most of the sweat is, so it actually works quite well.
Wouldn't it be better just to go to a hot country and do some cycling there?
So again, back to my friend Brent Ronestad. They did a control group of doing this, exactly this, training in a heat chamber simulator is like 40 degrees, compared doing exactly this, training in an environmental heat chamber at like 35 degrees, I can't remember the exact temperature, and passive heat training in a sauna, and then a control group who just did none of the above. And surprise, surprise, control group least gains, next most gains passive heat, next best was heat chamber. This was the most effective, and it's all the same time commitment, all the same relative perceived exertion. Well, no, yeah, obviously, that's the top two same RPE. It's kind of hard to compare the RPE of sauna, where you're dealing with more heat stress, but no like exertion-related stress.
Interesting. Did you ever hear this? The story, which is a true story, about a woman who dressed as somebody from a film in Goldfinger. So she sprayed herself completely, covered herself in gold paint. Anyway, she couldn't sweat. Just like it's hard to sweat with that thing on. Anyway, it killed her.
Sweating 3 litres an hour then.
It killed her, you see.
Well, that's because she can't sweat, because she can't regulate her body temperature. I'm sweating 3 litres an hour.
Yeah, but is it working because you're wearing that sauna suit?
Yeah.
Is it
Since I've been doing this, no.
No, well,
the sweat's cooling me down, yes.
Is it?
Yes. Otherwise I would die, like you say.
You are hot, aren't you? You're looking very hot.
Yeah.
I mean, what sort of safety things have you got in place? Imagine you got too hot. That wouldn't be good, would it?
Yeah, so I've played around
I think the reason I'm saying this,
do you want to listen to my answer, or do you want to just...
I think
okay,
I
all right.
say this.
I'll just let you do the rest of the video then.
No, the reason I'm saying this is because it's important for you to not recommend things that might be dangerous to people who misunderstand them. That is the point of what I'm saying.
You don't let people, like you say, if you do it wrong, if you don't rehydrate after, if you go too hard, if you go too long, if you start dehydrated, you will fuck yourself up. If you do all the right things, you'll get a good benefit for not too much stress.
Yeah, but what you've got to remember is a lot of people, they'll just see this and they'll just go and do it without listening to the detail. So I think it's
like you, not listening to the details.
Yeah, but that's a lot of people, but there might be one or two who aren't. So that's why you've got to make it clear that it can be dangerous. Because people who don't listen properly are not going to follow the rules, and they're just going to get the idea. Then they might do it, and it might be dangerous for them.
So, can I ask you?
So two of my clients who have been most well-adhered to heat training have won the 2 biggest races in the UK this year.
That's excellent.
The 2 best performances of my career, my 2 biggest wins ever, all time. I've done heat training the day before.
No, that's excellent. I'm saying that's good. But remember, right? Remember that people can also misunderstand you. So the best people will follow your directions and they'll observe all the safety protocols. But there's some people who just hear a little bit of what you say.
It's the same with anything. You say like high volume training is good. And so 20, 25, maybe even 30 hours. Someone goes and does 50 hours a week, then they're going to get problems. They're not going to get faster.
But that's why I'm saying it's all cool.
And then
What's your LT1?
Yeah. What is?
Okay, so what were you saying?
So you start finding out what you actually want to be control. Of course, at the start, you're not heat stress isn't a problem. But you do that for as long as it takes the heart rate to increase beyond what you would be if you're cooled in the afternoon. So that builds up the heat in about 10 minutes, and then you're just gradually dropping the power, but keeping the effort level and the heart rate in the same, about that 3 out of 10. So the start I was doing 300 watts, and now I'm doing like 190. So but my effort is constantly the same.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, is there anything else you'd like to say?
Yeah. So you just want to be careful about not going over. Like, I thought for myself with a max heart rate of like about 190, the mid 190s. I keep my heart rate about 130 to 140 RPM, BPM. And I find if I go much over that, I experiment doing some short efforts, even just 30 seconds. And I find just like, yeah, your heart rate gets up to 170s really fast, breathing really high. But that, just even having a small amount of exposure to that really high core temperature generates a lot of fatigue.
Yeah.
And so you're very tired the next day. Whereas if you get the effort and the intensity just right, like hopefully I've done today, then you can feel really good the next day.
Good. Okay.
5 seconds, I'm done.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah.
So I was just saying that when I was doing that, I had 2 apples in my back pocket, and I just eaten one, and they're almost cooked. They're like gone all like soft and stuff, like lost their crisp. Cooled down quickly though, so that's quite nice.